So our guest this morning, Assemblyman Wane Clarke, for the area of Lambu Lowlands. He's also the secretary for the Division of Community Development, Youth Development, and Sport. Good morning and welcome to you, Assemblyman Clarke.
Good morning and good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. And we are seen and heard from far and wide. So good morning to the worldwide audience.
All right. Now, we're really happy to have you on the program with us this morning, and we want to jump right into things. Now, I mean, you go by the family name, the community name WASP, and I'm sure there are persons who've always been interested in why WASP. Where did the WASP come from? Wane WASP Clarke, and you stress on your WASP. You don't let go of it at all. So give us some background information here. Where did the WASP come from?
I'm stressing it because it's sort of my comfort zone.
It's your comfort zone. It's dear to your heart.
Yeah.
So tell us the background behind WASP.
From way back in primary school in the 70s, I should say that it was in standard 2. Miss Brown was the teacher, and we was doing spelling. And it's doing like WASP, Marabuntas, Jack Spaniel.
Right.
But the other two words didn't appeal to me. So I keep sticking on the WASP. You hear some people might say, WASP. That's just broken English. But it's WASP.
Yes.
And it just comes from just being humorous with spelling with Miss Brown.
And that name stuck with you?
It stayed right there. I mean, in Tobago, it's very possible that you know somebody all your life, and unless you had a formal meeting with them, you never know their real name.
That's right. That's the Tobago culture.
Yes. If you was in school with them, you would know their real name. But outside of that, you would know their name. It's just something it's a custom.
Okay. All right. Now we know that you were very actively involved in your community, sports and otherwise. This is Wane Clarke before Assemblyman Wane Clarke. All right. So let's talk a little bit about life before politics. You were involved in community work, involved in sport. Just give us some other things that you would have been involved in before politics.
Well, politics sort of is like the more official side of life, but basically there ain't no change.
Nothing changed.
It's just been the same, It's a life of service, and I saw politics as a opportunity to extend that service. So I've been involved in, with the schools in the area. At one time, I might have been one of the only people that go to a preschool to coach. I had about 7 of them. And by the primary school and secondary school. So there were days that my life was just pre-primary and secondary.
In terms of sports?
Yes. So, sometimes you say sport, but sometimes you need to understand when we're dealing with children, what we're doing is shaping their life. So, it's bigger than sports, because even I coach at Mason Hall 1 year, Light and Life 6 years. And I remember that when I went to Light and Life, there wasn't much coaches in Tobago where I take a look at that side of the island in terms of the school. Because people allow stigmas to scare them away at times.
Was there stigma attached at the time?
Always. And I always say that I believe that the system has to take some of the blame for the stigma that was on Light and Life. Because having a system where you take all the supposedly underperforming children and put them in one place, then you are the ones that looking for trouble.
Guaranteed.
So that's what I mean when I say the stigma. And in some places it was able to sort of Speyside work their way out of it. At one time Mason Hall was coming out of it. I mean, some
Goodwood work their way out of it.
Work their way out of it. So the secondary schools that came late, they were the ones that they would take all the children from the post-primary centers and send them there.
Yeah.
It was something I think wasn't thought out properly. Nevertheless, we are here now, and we just have to take it and move with it.
Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of your, because you made mention, excuse me, you made mention of, something is in the throat, excuse me, you made mention of your community life And I'm really glad that you brought that, you were able to talk about that. You said the same person back then, still the same person now. Yeah?
Yeah, no need to change.
No need to change. All right, let's talk a little bit about some of your accomplishments. Um, you would have been involved in community work right through, excuse me, excuse me, not sure what's happening. Right, feel better now. Sorry about that, viewers. All right, so life, community life, and sporting before politics, and even after politics, when you started, you were still actively involved in community work and sports, yes?
I'm still actually, yes, pretty much my life remains the same, except that you're a little more in the spotlight. You know that yesterday you might have done something unnoticed. Today, people will take notice even
Because,
faster, especially if it's something they perceive negative.
yeah.
So I I grew up first, I think what attracted me or what encouraged me to go into that aspect of the community life is coming out of a broken home. And looking back, it took me a while to address or to actually accept what happened to me. As I say, to understand it. It took me a long while. And when I watch children now, average child that comes to you or you interact with, single parent, most time 90% mothers and all that. And I was saying that, from that early age, that I think I could relate to the children in that place because I was there. I ain't reading to them from a book. I could relate to them what I live.
Yeah.
And that was what attracted me to take that path.
All right. And that's very interesting that you're able to identify because you've walked the road.
Exactly.
You've walked the road. All right. So we want to jump right into things. Now, with regards to the division that you spearhead, community development, youth development, and sport, tell us what things fall under your purview.
Well, basically, the name says it all, and sometimes you say, yes, you spearhead the division. I just see myself as another team member in the division. But the division existed before me and it will exist after me. I'm just passing through the division and they're trying to make a positive impact. There would have been systems set up. Some you might think require like a tweeting. Some you would just try to strengthen and some you would just try to accelerate on.
Okay.
But it's all, and I think it's the way how we actually live life and how we plan. If there's a system in place and the system is good, then you're just there to enhance and progress with that system. If it's not, then you have to make the decision if I'm going to address, if I'm going to try to make a turnaround. And these things take time. These things take time. It's very interesting if you watch at some simple things, how much time it takes to even achieve that simple thing. Like I come here and I heard you said this morning that we made our on-time start. But if it was in your DNA that you stroll in your 8:15 every morning, then it doesn't matter what time I get here, we're not going to start till 8:15.
That's right.
So simple things like that.
How important is time to you?
Time is
Being
everything.
on time.
You have to be big on time if you're big on progress.
What is the message you believe that you send to your constituents, your staff when you're late?
And I try not to be late. I try to lead by example because if I have an expectation that I want you to be on time, then I have to be there on time to welcome you on time.
Okay.
In the community development where I reside most days, I don't have a car to clock. I don't have a book to sign in, but I make an issue out of being there on time every day. Because somewhere along the line, you believe it or not, the reality of life is that somebody is always watching you.
That's right.
And if you are seen doing the right things, then it's easy to follow. It's a far cry from saying some things. Your voice is your loudest,
Your
action.
life. Your life or your voice?
Your voice. No, I get that wrong. Your action is your loudest voice.
Your action is your loudest voice. I like that. Now, let's talk a bit of going back to the division here in terms of what falls under your purview. Now, Assemblyman, Assistant Secretary Megan Morrison was on the program with us about 2 weeks or so ago, and we did ask the question, in terms of what falls under her purview. And it seems as though there are not clear lines drawn in terms of what she's responsible for and what you are responsible for. So is it a sharing of the responsibilities? Is it that she's responsible for one arm of the division and you another? Who makes the decisions?
All right. So just to clear this up, because it's something I've been hearing in the public space for a while. We are there to take charge of that division,
Right.
both Assistant Secretary Morrison and myself.
Yes.
And I value her as much as I value myself with the work to get along with. I mean, coming from different little background people, I see things are little different, but the reality is that, number one, we had a short time to operate as Secretary and Assistant Secretary. It was just the ending of July. So it's basically we had 3 months plus. And we have to hold hands and do everything together.
Right.
And whatever the responsibilities are, communication is the key. Right? We have to hold hands, do everything together. Time is not our friend. To sit and say, you take that too and I take that too. We just don't have time for it. And in my mind, it's not a healthy approach.
Right.
We work together, we hold each other hand all the way. And that's what I try to encourage, and that's what I try to, that's how I try to lead. I don't leave you anywhere and I'm somewhere else, and we go everywhere together. If I am not there tomorrow, you have to take charge. So you have to walk with me every day to ensure that you are where I am.
So do you believe that there is a clear line in terms of, now you said you'll do everything, you need to do everything together
Yes.
to get the job done. But do you believe that she is feeling, because from that interview
I
and what
understand.
was said, it appears as though she is underutilized. She wants to do more, give more.
And that's easy. If you think you're underutilized, just, sometimes we say things or we speak where it could not be, I say like, all right, not the right forum. When I say not the right forum, that's why rumors are so popular in our country. If you was to have a consultation here today about, let's say, the Tobago Carnival, one handful of people will show up. But tomorrow on the street, you have 1,000 different views.
Opinions.
Well, right.
Yes.
So the point I'm making is that sometimes, and nobody is perfect. You're entitled to your belief, I'm entitled to my own, but generally, sometimes we are here, sitting here together, and because we didn't have an open conversation about some things, we misunderstand each other. And being humans, that's possible. And it's also possible to say that, yes, I took a wrong path, and the quicker you understand it is the quicker you could turn around. So probably Secretary Morrison came from a background that she sort of believed in direct lines and clear lines and whatever. And then I could come from one that says that I believe in doing everything together.
Right.
So
it's finding the middle ground.
exactly, and it just requires a conversation, and it's no problem with her feeling that way. I see it as a vitamin, as she wants to do more, and that is good.
Yes, always good.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
So that's the perfect partner. So Secretary Morrison, you are the perfect partner for me.
All right. Let's talk about some of the accomplishments within the division before we get to, some stories about why you are tired. So let me let our viewers know that he is feeling tired this morning, but he'll tell us a little bit more about why he's tired a little bit later on. But let's talk about some of the accomplishments within the division, some of what you've been able to, some of the initiatives you've been able to implement, some of the existing initiatives, and some of those that you may have been able to do away with. But we're going to get into that when we come back from the break this morning. We're going to share some of the accomplishments just after the break. Viewers, welcome back this morning to Beneath the Surface Street Talk, No Chaser. Still chatting on set with us, Assemblyman Wane Clarke. And we're getting a little bit into the background of what initiatives were able to be kept, what initiatives were implemented, and what initiatives were able to be put on the shelf, so to speak. So, Assemblyman Clarke.
Well, I just see it as making some minor adjustments in terms of I'm gonna draw to your attention. We have several youth programs like the trade check, the world of work. And coming out of some of these programs, particularly like the trade check and the vocational skills classes that we do, it just strike me that okay, what's the reason you're having these classes? Are you preparing somebody? You're preparing people to function home, or you're preparing people to function, outside of the home circle where they can make a living.
Right.
And it just strike me that we have to make some adjustments here in terms of, okay, you spend millions of dollars when the year come to do these classes, and yet the certificate you give them, not even you could employ them with it. And I think that needed immediate to address that immediately. So we engage in a process with like the NTA and other certification people that we could certify these people and actually make them employable. Not have vocational classes and it seems like the end result is vocational.
Just a certificate to say that you participated.
Yeah, and
that's it.
To me that was pretty useless. So that's one of the things that I insist that we have to change, and we are well on the way to changing it.
Very
When people come through those classes, it must mean something. You should become, the purpose of preparing young people is to make them employable, to make them attractive in the employment market. And I didn't see the sense in continuing that. So that was one of the things that need to be tweaked.
Right.
We have a culture in Tobago, I say Trinidad and Tobago at times, that if you were from a different political party and I came to the fore today, that you started a building, you put up 4 rows of blocks, I break them down and find some reason to end my term by putting up 4 rows too. So we really didn't move. If I saw the need to just build on what you did, we must be able and we must be mature enough to say, Rhea, you did something good, regardless of what political party you represent.
So what are you saying as it pertains to this particular, is it towards a particular initiative?
What I'm saying is that in general, we spend too much of time looking for the negative in what other people do. And the vocational classes, all the youth programs you run are very good. They are very good programs.
And these were programs implemented under the previous.
Yes, they always existed.
Right.
And there's no need
just needed to get it clear for our viewers.
Yes, there's no need to scrap them or to, you just tweak it so you could actually take it further. Right. It could be more meaningful. In other words, I think even in opposition, you have a purpose. And if you allow that purpose to get as low as just criticizing and opposing, then you would fail the people that you should be representing. We have to get to our politics have to mature. We have to be able to say, I must be able to walk across that floor and tap you on the back and say, Rhea, well done. And not just find or look for something, because there's perfection in none of us. So I could always find some flaw with you, and you could find a flaw with me. But if we work together, even being on different sides of the fence, it means that both inside and outside of the house would be clean and better.
And at the end of the day, who benefits?
Tobago.
Tobago benefits. Tobago wins.
So if we just work together, we can make Tobago attractive. And we can, sometimes you hear people say that, now me and politics now. Politician, you just have to tell lie and you just have to this. And I didn't see it as that. I see it as you're in the seat. Other than trying to do your best, there's a level of honesty that has to go with what you do. and being upfront with people. People come to me every day with all different kind of requests. And it's just like saying your prayers. Your prayers don't get answered immediately every time.
That's right.
So we have to be able to learn to tell people, no, not now. I can't do it now. I could do it now, or I would not do that. When they leave by you, they must leave with a clear understanding that this is what I stand for, and not the hope of coming back tomorrow to be disappointed again because I didn't want to tell them no. I try to accept the fact, and we need to understand that even as Rhea hosting this show, everybody would never like you.
True.
But everybody would never hate you.
True.
And then that is why it's more important for you to be Rhea. Because if you stop being Rhea, who are you?
That's right.
So that's how I live, and that's how I see things. So as a running back to the division, there are many things that needs to be done. There are many things that needs to be adjusted. And you being on top as the policy maker, you would not guarantee through your policies that what is to be done is done. There's somebody at the bottom of the ladder who has to execute that policy. And if they don't get it right, you can't get it right. So that's why I spend so much time out in the fields, because in many instances we are not getting the return that we should be getting from some of our workers. And let me just clear this up. Some of our workers are very dedicated. There are workers I could call in the middle of the night, and the only response you will get from them, give me 10 minutes. But it's not like that all through.
Right.
It will never be like that all through. And you have to try to level the playing field as much as possible by holding people accountable to what they have been paid for. This is not a popular statement. It's not a popular stance to make, but it is needed if you have to go forward. Some of our workers really left a lot to be desired. Because, some people have another job, and nothing wrong in having another job. Because you look at the Americas and you hear people say to make it harder to do 3 jobs.
Well, you need a side hustle or 2.
Right, but let's just dig into that. With that side hustle, you give those people what is theirs in terms of the time and what they need from you. Just give the government the same, and you will see how you will see how Tobago will climb that ladder.
So you don't feel you're getting money for value.
Not in every case.
Right.
And look at it this way.
So what is in place? Is there something in place? Is there a mechanism in place to ensure that you get value for money? People, okay, there's a culture in the Caribbean. I mean, I want to broaden the scope and not say just Trinidad and Tobago. There's a culture, and particularly when you work for the government or you work for the THA, that it's okay to your work day starts at 8 o'clock, but it's okay to get there at 9, and then you take a break. You take a break to go handle some business. So you leave for about another hour. So you get back at 11, but then lunch is at 12. So you take lunch at 12, and then you realize that there's some other things that you need to do. So you get back in at about 2. But then you've got to go pick up your children for 3.
Exactly.
And the workday ends at 4.
That's Tobago in a nutshell.
So what is being put in place? And if this is happening within your division, what can be put in place to ensure what? Is it to boost morale? Is it to ensure that you get value for money?
All right. So that is the reason I tell you that the chair in my office, that's probably the biggest stranger to me. Because it's not the place to be. You cannot fix or run a division from in an office, especially when people are not 100% locked into what their roles and responsibilities are. They might know it, but it doesn't do it.
Okay.
So you have to be out there, not in a draconian way, but just in a way to say that I'm here. Sometimes when I go out, I ask the workers, tell me what is the problem? What, you're having any problems? What is the issues? And in many cases, the problems stem from a supervisory level.
Okay.
Sometimes I remember the workers telling me, we're waiting a whole week with 2 bags of cement. You're talking about 8 men waiting for something that costs $160. Each of the 8 men pays more than $160.
What would you have done in that scenario?
Then you have to get to the person who's supposed to deliver the cement and find out why that is not being done. And then that person might tell you, well, I'm just using a word, well, I didn't get the PO from accounts or whoever. And then you have to go to accounts to see what is the problem. Because sometimes where the problem shows up is not where it originates.
Right.
So in our system, requires a lot more hands-on approach to have things working. It's okay to set policies and do everything, but if this system doesn't work, ultimately, as good as the policies are, they will fail. So we have to get up, go out, and ensure that what is to be done is done from the lowest level, because at what we perceive to be the lowest level is who do the delivery, the end work. So each and every person is important. Sometimes you just need to get out there to reassure them that you are important as I am. I'm sitting on the chair. I'm not mixing the concrete. I'm not sitting on the chair that I make. You made it. So you are important too.
Is that why we don't see you in a shirt and tie?
That's exactly why, because a shirt and tie doesn't afford me to roll up my sleeve and get down in the drain with a worker if I see him there.
Have you done that before?
Over and over, that has been my life. If I'm passing here and I see you cutting the field there, and how you going? Say, let me take a drink, there, man. I'm like a thirsty, let me get some water. I say, okay. Put the water over there, go and get the water, but the work ain't gonna stop. Sometimes you pass, you see men working in some remote places. You all need anything? What's going on? How things? And I turn around and go and get something for them. Because we have to understand that not because you were supposedly placed at a little treader above the worker on the ground that you are above them. He that is greatest among you shall be your servant. So being elected is not a promotion. It's an opportunity to sincerely serve and serve the people that you are, where you're elected to serve.
Okay. I want to come back to the initiatives. Now, we made mention of the couple of the programs that were there under the previous administration. That you're just tweaking.
Yeah.
What are maybe one other initiative that you were able to implement under your tenure?
All right. In a system that's not perfect, we have to understand that sometimes your touch is important. Not that you have a magical touch, but I'm a sticker for seeing, organize things in the way that they should be. Because to ensure success in anything, you have to have the machinery working the right way.
Yes.
You could have the prettiest car, the best paint job, and the engine not in order, the car not going to move. So in many instances, I think it's just checking on all the little components that make up the end product to ensure that they are okay. Ensure that the worker on the ground has the necessary PPE. Ensure that one of the biggest problems we have, and it is not motivating to our workers, that you hear sometimes people come to me, tears in their eye, I retired 5 years now, nothing. You cannot motivate the person that's going to retire tomorrow when you see that happening to the person that went before him. So I made an issue out of having people have their going home monies on time. It's not perfect, but let's speed it up. Let's raise our game. Right now, the division is paying out gratuities and whatever to the tune of somewhere around $3 million. Because people, and that has been accumulated over a long period of time. And sometimes I think that when people are out of the limelight, out of active duty, we don't pay as much emphasis to them as we should. And that is
sort of out of sight, out of mind.
It's one of our failures, because you cannot motivate the person who's soon going to be outside when you see you treating people on the outside like that. So I try to ensure that these people are taken care of, that you get what you get. It's very disturbing at times that at my level, sometimes if you're not on the ground, if you're not in circulation, you would not know the problems until you hit social media. And that's when all fingers are pointing at you, when in truth and in fact, you thought that people were doing their jobs. You have to stop thinking that people are doing their jobs. And before you sit to relax, go out there and ensure that the jobs are being done. Right? I travel across Tobago weekly, go and check a facility, check a community center, check this, check that, because it is in your interest to check, because the blame falls squarely on you. And you have no excuse when something pops up like that because you were not checking on your troops.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges and failures. I mean, you alluded to a couple of them before when you mentioned, men on the ground working, and there's a delay because of a bag of cement that costs what,
Yes, these things happen.
$160.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the challenges to the delivery of projects, the delivery of initiatives. What are some of the challenges that you would have faced within this 4-year term?
The challenges come in different direction and in different ways, right? But actually saying that the many challenges you have, in my mind, my way of dealing with things, I sit them down and start ticking from the smallest one and coming up. Try to do it as simple as possible because, I consider myself a simple man because I try to have the simplest approach to everything, right? And the system, our overall system, needs to be looked at, right? It cannot happen overnight. It's a process. Something that is all like in agriculture, the same day you sow the seed, it's not going to blossom the same
That's
day.
right.
So it's the same way when you develop a bad habit over time. It cannot be remedied one day. You have to take your time, understand what the problem is, and thereby you could plan your approach, how you're going to get around to it. I decided that a lot of the projects we have, small projects, don't have to be contracted out. We can do it in-house. But we need to ensure that the people that work in-house get what they want. So one of my approaches, and I'm going to draw some examples to you. Right now we are sort of 90% in completing the upgrade works on the Plymouth Pavilion, the Speyside Pavilion. We're actually doing a gym in Shaw Park, an extension of the original pavilion.
Yes.
We put in a gym to the back there because I think it was important that our athletes be exposed to that kind of training, because sometimes we see where we are lacking with certain things, and these things, the athletes have been crying out for that for a long time.
For a very long time.
So I'm just trying to meet the need. But all these projects that I just mentioned to you are being done in-house.
So there was the opportunity all along to have these projects done in-house.
The opportunity is always there. It's how you see it and what you want to undertake.
Okay.
I think that we have capable workmen who can deliver these projects. That gym in Shaw Park is 75% complete now, in-house. Plymouth Pavilion, 80 to 90% complete, in-house. Speyside Pavilion, 90% complete, in-house. Right? Some of the light maintenance we have, when I said the light maintenance at the play fields we got into office with a lot of these things not working. Just recently we were able to reopen Mongrace. Mongrace has the best surface in Tobago now outside of the Dwight York Stadium. And that was done in-house.
And Goodwood is still waiting?
Goodwood is still waiting. But, with the Goodwood situation, we are about, right now as we speak, EID cut, and they are doing a visit to Goodwood to determine a startup date.
Okay.
All the paperwork is done, and they are well on the way to restarting. I am hopeful that by this month end, that project will restart.
Okay.
Charlottesville Pavilion and Community Center restarted and going at full speed ahead.
Okay.
So some of the projects, it is, and I'm not making any excuse, but it is sometimes angering to the communities that my project stopped. I've seen something going on over there and nothing ain't going on by me. And it's normal, it's human nature.
Yes.
But we also have to understand that sometimes that there are reasons why these things were so. And one of the things that probably we are guilty of as an administration is not letting the public know what you know, letting them know what affects you.
You try to save face sometimes. You try to save face.
Yes, but it ain't always good because you always blow back on you.
All right.
You know, for instance,
Just before we go on, let's just take a quick break here, Assemblyman. When we come back, we continue chatting, and you're going to share with us what you were just about to share,
yeah.
and you'll let our viewers know why you're so tired this morning, some of what's been happening in the background that they're not aware of. All right, so stay tuned, viewers. It is Beneath the Surface, straight talk, no chaser. Viewers, welcome back to Beneath the Surface, straight talk, no chaser. Now, when the interview started earlier this morning and Assemblyman Clarke came on set, he did indicate to me just before we started, that he was tired, and we spoke a little bit about what could account for him being so tired today. So he's willing to share with us publicly what are some of the areas that have been really taking his energy and his concentration over the last few weeks. So over to you, Assemblyman Clarke.
Okay, throughout my tenure, even on approaching office, when we got into office, one of the things that was dear to my heart was the cries of the people of Lowlands, actually, that saying they didn't have a place to recreate within their community. And I scarcely make promises, especially distant ones. But I was saying that I think it's possible if we work together.
Right.
Now, the government, as the government, would never be able to do everything and give everything that's needed on time. So I have embarked on that initiative. To the back of the Lowlands Multipurpose Center, there's a nice little piece of property there. It's what we have. And I embark on a project to do a play field. It wouldn't be the biggest size, but it is what can the space affords.
Right.
And I undertake this venture out of pocket.
Why out of pocket?
Number one, I promised it to the people. Number two, we as a government, we wouldn't be able to deliver it on time. So I think as a responsible representative, I made a commitment to the people. It might not be completed as what the government might have done.
Right.
But it could be started. I could signal my intention that I am sincere to you. I tell you that this was going to happen, so this is going to happen. And one of the good things that bring a satisfaction from within me and keep me going, as tired as I might be, is that when I turn up there yesterday evening, I received a call yesterday evening because I had an excavator working there whole week last week. And I received a call yesterday evening. You're a young lady. You ain't coming down here again. We down here, you know. As tired as I was, I had to just change my clothes and get down there. We were picking up the stones from the surface there, getting them off before we put on the topsoil. And it energizes you as an area rep to see people in the community buying into what you're doing. So putting the expense aside, because you could never measure, comfort to the people you represent by $1. So I think, yes, he have me tired, but he also has me energized. I'm gonna hopefully deliver that project by Christmas. Hopefully we could run around and play on it for Christmas. And in my mind, there will be no better Christmas gift to give the people at Lowlands. Because we did it together.
Now, you have also thrown your hat into the electoral ring for the TPP. You have gone up unopposed for the Lambo Lowlands community.
Indeed,
There's nobody else contesting that seat within the party. Nobody has thrown their hat into the ring for screening. What do you think can account for that?
Well, it's not that people couldn't throw their hat into the ring. In my mind, it just simply says that the people are saying we are satisfied with you and we want to persevere with you.
Okay.
Right? So, and it's not reason for me to sit back and say yes. It's reason to push on. The reward for good work is more work. And that's how I see it, and that's how I, just to mention, for my whole tenure in office, I had one of the first things I did was I had a little volunteer group. And every Sunday morning, I'm somewhere in the community with these people, cleaning a drain, cutting a road, doing whatever is required to sort of taking up this slack that the sitting government, which I'm a part of, so actually it's still the government working through me, but just doing the odd things that could make a big difference to people's life. And one of the most rewarding things is when I go out there, that the residents in many instances come and join me. One morning we was trying to do some work on a road in Lowlands in Birchwood Triangle. And I walked with 6 shovels and I couldn't get one to use. And I was saying like, where's my shovel? Give me a... But the people came out. And what I'm saying, it's always satisfying when you have buy-in from the people who you are serving. And they coming out and working along with me indicates to me that, okay, that we are all at a place where there's a level of comfort and trust and we want to go on. So basically, I think that's the reason for the being unopposed. As I say, it's not something to be comfortable with, it's to push on. And successful or not, this definitely may be my last run at politics, because I think in this country, we are not good at succession planning. That's why we always have to start over. Along with serving the people, if elected for our next term, is identifying with some people that could continue. Succession planning.
Yes.
Don't always wait to the end to start over. Have something in place that you could just continue. And that's how I see it.
What do you believe you could have done differently within the past 4 years? I mean, sometimes you sit and you think about your day, your week, your month. Maybe if I had done, or maybe I could have. Looking back at your 4-year term, I mean, it's not over, but near completion. What do you think you could have done differently? What are maybe your regrets or failures? And some persons say, I have no failures, I learn from my mistakes. But, when you think back, what could you have done?
Okay. Now, looking back, you're always from a position of advantage because you see what was.
Right.
It's like, when I like humor. And so I don't gamble, but I like to be by the playway pace when the mark was. And you always going to hear somebody say, oh, I stupid, I should have think that because look at the play yesterday and that. Everybody know what should be done after the fact. I regrets, no. I was on a learning path, yes. And certainly I would like to do more.
What more, if given an opportunity, you're successful, let's say in the upcoming elections, you are successful, what would you like to do?
I would like to assert myself more in terms of I understand what is required now from a better place. So it's easy to kick on. It's our next term will be just kicking on, moving on, raising the bar. And the biggest success for me is working with the people you were elected to serve. Not leaving them behind and doing things. Strange enough, we are just preparing to restart the Goodwood project. And when you go to Goodwood now and the people come out and tell you that we were never consulted, we were never, that in itself is a turn off.
So I'm giving you something that I think is best for you, but you know what's best for you because
exactly.
This is
if you just communicate a little, sometimes you get a different perspective. Sometimes we go, when we have bad weather, people come with complaints and you didn't just send somebody out, I go out. And sometimes they will tell you that, when they was building this place, we live here and we telling them how the water has come down and they didn't listen. Look what's happening now. So sometimes not because you perceive to be at the top or the policy maker, you know it all. We all have to understand that we have to learn from each other. You ever hear the joke about this kind of displaced guy who was passing and see some men struggling with a car with a flat tire. The wheel nuts came off. And they were thinking now, how? There are no place we could go and buy some wheel nut now. But this man, who everybody considered so low, so meek, was able to tell them, take one off from the other tree and all go her tree and you go reach home. So sometimes the opinion of the man on the ground counts, because he would not give you it from a book, he give you from practical living.
Yeah,
And
experience.
when you're married to, you get a perfect combination. So I think that my tenure was one of growing, was one of learning, was a humbling one, understanding that you were elected to serve, and understanding that even if you aspire to greatness, he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. So everybody can be great, because everybody can simply serve.
Now, when you took office, Assemblyman Clarke, you were, some said, very quiet. In terms of politics, you came in very green, as did most of the other assemblymen. But what have you learned over the 4 years that has made you a better man?
Came in green, came in quiet, came in
Inexperience.
inexperience. That is a given. That's how we grow, right? We had our whole executive, a green people, right? And in judging us, some people forget that. I mean, really, it's not an excuse. But when you look at this term, there were a lot of firsts that Tobago can be proud of. Since I was small child, you're hearing people touting about Tobago and their own carnival. Sometimes everybody know what is to be done, but who has the will to do it? We had the will to do it, and in 4 short years, look at what this has grown into. There has never been a event on the island that is this big.
That can match it.
So, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Fear only delay your arrival, and sometimes never let you arrive at all. You learn. If you fail, it's a lesson that I did this wrong, and try to find out why I did this wrong so you could get it right, because you shouldn't stop trying because of one failure. They didn't wake up today and just have aeroplanes. It started somewhere until it reached to that. So you look at I talk about the carnival. We have a beach sport facility in Colon, the only one in the country. I actually was privileged to see a clipping in a Barbados newspaper that they were going to build a similar one, and was actually highlighting that they want it done just as Tobago. So
Tobago on the map again.
that is another first. We have been trying. You could never reach all the requests that come to you, especially the financial ones. But sometimes I ask the organizations to be a little realistic. It cannot be that I want to go to Trinidad tomorrow and it costs $500 and I come to the THA for $500. I mean, even you as an individual, you are a businesswoman, somebody come to you for help, 2 people, and one tell you this thing costs $10, but I have 4. And the other one tell you it costs $10, but I want 11, because I want to save. Who would you reach out to? And this is where people don't understand, I think, at times, that in sporting organization, I founded the Lambo Youth Foundation and ran it for 13 years with children and coaching football. But that's where we lose it a lot of time as coaches and as people who lead in, because we believe that we are serving in a particular discipline, which is not true. Anything you're doing with children, you're preparing them for life. You have 6 children here coaching them tennis. All 6 would never be professional players. But what are those who didn't make it? What do they have to take away? That's where you come in as the coach, as the mentor. So everybody will never succeed, but everybody could succeed in life, because the things that they end up doing, sometimes you end up in a place that you never imagined. I never saw politics as an option for me, but I saw serving as an option. And if serving comes under the banner of politics, then so be it.
So be it. And what would you like to say to the constituents of your district? What would you like to say to them this morning? Now, you made mention of putting that play park in Lowlands because Lowlands did not have one. The other communities did. You mentioned Lambo, you mentioned Canaan had, but Lowlands suffered for that.
Yes.
For one of those that you said they've been crying out for. What else would you, in fact, what would you say to them this morning in terms of your representation? Why should they say, look, Clarke, we're giving you another term in office?
Basically, I say to the people of Lambo Lowlands, and before I give you that, let me just say that I'm doing upgrades on the William Mackenzie Park in Lambo too.
Okay.
Right, we are installing toilets there right now. Another job that we are doing, it's kind of comical.
Shouldn't there be bathroom facilities at all of the parks?
Well, you would want to think that, but the reality is that they were not.
Okay.
So if they were not, then you have to just put it in.
So if you want to, because it's in the areas that the thought pattern is, but because it's in the community, you already live in the community, just run home and use the bathroom. But what about those persons coming from outside?
Yeah, but it's difficult to tell people on one hand, we're striving to develop. And then you have facilities where the very people using on a daily basis. And we go tell them, go and pee in the bush.
Or run home.
It just can't be.
Run home. You live close by, run home.
The thing is that in order to make these facilities more attractive, that is a must. Yes. And from the toilet, you have the toilet facilities there now. We have to make a decision how we're going to manage it. The government is not that good in maintaining. So we have to look at getting the other groups in the community involved. So you might say, Lambo Sports Club, look this, charge at $3 or $5 to use it, keep it clean, maintain it. And everybody is happy because when people come, there's a clean toilet there.
That's right.
Right? We're going to reinstall swing and slide and so forth there to make it attractive because it's a beautiful place, but people don't go there as much because there isn't things to attract them and keep them there. So that's one of the things that we doing, and I am doing that in partnership with the community. I have URP doing some work there, the actual labor, but the materials were donated by people in the community.
Okay.
So when I move, I have buy-in with the community, and I will have it no other way because they have a part to play in
They're
this.
invested, yes.
They are part owners. They might take care of it better. So to the people of Lambo Lowlands, this 4 years, this journey was an eye-opener to me, was a part of, me developing myself and want to hold the community hands and let's do it together. I never see myself as separate and apart from you. I see myself as having a mandate to serve you.
You can tell them directly.
Yes, I see myself as having a mandate to serve you. And I want to continue serving you if it pleases you. So I look forward to many more years, even being out of the politics at some time. Once there is the life and the strength in me, there will always be the willingness to serve. There was that willingness before politics, and it will be there after politics because it's just who I am.
All right. Thank you so much for chatting with us. And before we go, if you were to grade yourself, because all the other assemblymen had to grade, if you were to grade yourself A to F, what grade would you give in terms of your performance?
I prefer numbers.
Okay, 1 to 10. What
Okay.
number would you give yourself?
Well, I wouldn't give myself anything. What I will do is reflect on the fact that I was unopposed with my nomination.
We still need a number. We still need a grade.
Well, if you have to grade, that's the ceiling there. So if you say 1 to 10, if you say 1 to 100, that's 99 3/4.
Okay. All right, we leave it there. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us this morning, Assemblyman Wane Clarke. Wayne Wasp, you got to put in the Wasp. Don't forget the Wasp.
Indeed.
All right, a man of the people, throwing his hat into the ring again for service. Well, viewers, thank you so much for joining us for Beneath the Surface. Straight talk, no chaser. We will be on tomorrow, and we're going to be concluding on Friday with Chief Secretary Fali Augustine. So have a great day. Stay safe on the roads, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Tobago updates.